Mic test. It's that time of the week, another edition of the Race Spec Esports PS4 Elite Series, and Tier 3 is coming to you from the US of A, Circuit of the Americas, and qualifying is underway already as we see the Stone Tower. It's usually the first man out on track, doesn't disappoint once more, straight out of the blocks, and looking to punch in a fast time, bank an early lap. See what he can do. So gets through the first part of the lap okay, locks the tyre into the slow hairpin, round 11 corners into this track after just 45 seconds worth of driving. Gets a bit of a rest now as they fly down the pack straight, approaching 12. Always hard to get the traction right coming on the exit of 12 there as we see him flick that one around. That almost went haywire. In the meantime, the installator's gone to the top of the sheets with a 1:31.3. As we keep one eye on the Stone Tower in the Alfa Romeo. See what he can give us with this lap. Round the final corner, you don't have far to go to the finish line, and it's a 1:31.8, half a second off the installator's time. We welcome Breatho to the Tier 3 Elite Series. He'll be driving the Red Bull, and has a name very similar to that of Breno, just to really confuse me. Tactics as well in the sister Red Bull. What can these guys produce today? Bit wide on exit there, that invalidates the lap. Nice and calm and smooth through the first sector. 25.2. Down the hill on the approach to 11. Sharp left hairpin. Speeds drop to about... Why is that telemetry showing miles per hour? Sorry, I'm just going to see if I can change that. Doesn't look like I can. That's... Here we are. Oops. Just so it doesn't mess with my OCD. There we are, back in business. Another slow left-hander down to about 90 k's per hour there. Yellow flag showing that might be for the sister Red Bull. Breatho, I think he's run wide at the exit of turn 1 and ultimately invalidated that lap. As his teammate Tactics comes around the final corner to put in his first timed lap of the day, day's 10th. Still the Shiz is in the pits. So we might just hang with Aiden McKay here. He's making his way round to start a fast lap. What can the Racing Point driver produce? One of just 2 cars now yet to put in a time. Himself and Still the Shiz. So the Racing Point gets his timed lap underway. Points that car dead straight down that white line there. Gets it slowed down perfectly. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. Slowed it down perfectly. Just got on the gas a bit too hard. And that's that lap done. As far as a good time's concerned. Now, what's happened to the installator? He's disappeared from the session. Did he cook it? Or has he just left? I'm not sure, but 20-point deficit in the championship he's looking to make up on Breno here today. And have we seen just one and only timed lap from the installator? Not sure. Mort's heading out on track for another crack at the prize. He's 2/10 adrift in the Williams with a 1:31.5 exactly. It's a very angry side pod. He's on a fast lap now, I believe. No, that's invalidated, that lap. So throw that one in the garbage. WA Huddens, what's he up to? He's ripping and tearing through the first sector at the moment. Get it a bit wide through that left-hander at 7. So many corners in the first sector of the lap, I get them all confused. That's definitely 11 as he makes his way out of that. Good traction. DRS open down the back straight. Got to find your braking point perfectly into 12. Get it right. Clip the apex. And then it's a delicate little dance on the accelerator as you try to find that perfect balance of power and speed without spinning the wheels. He looks like he's handling it okay. He's locking a few front tyres though, the Renault driver. And through this fast section, triple right-hander. 16, 17 and 18. And you whip it through 19. Get on the brakes for the final corner, turn 20. And that's good enough to move him up to 4th. Just shy of the stone towel. Who is currently on a lap of his own. So he needs to make up, well, about 3/10 to get on the front row there. He's lapping in similar pace terms to his first lap. Locks the front left through 12. Locks the front right through 13. Very heavy on the brake pedal, some of these guys today. Oh, gets on the gas a bit too hard there out of 15. It's a tricky one. You feel if you can just get it turned into 15, well, you feel you've achieved something. So his lap's invalidated the stone towel and he pits accordingly. How did Mort end up? Is this still his timed lap? Well, he looks like he's on a hot one. Oh, keeps it inside the white lines. Just throws it through the final corner wide. Invalidates on the last corner. And it was, well, I mean, look, it would have got him on pole that time. But then you could argue running wide gained him that extra time as well. So, what's the semi-pro up to here? He's currently down in 6th. It's roughly 9/10 behind the installator. who still hasn't returned the session, so I'm not sure if he crashed or not. It was showing him sitting in the pit, so I don't think he crashed. I could be wrong. But either way, they can't get to him still with just under 6 minutes left in the session. As we follow the AlphaTauri driver, semi-pro. Ooh, he's having trouble out of 15 as well. It's like ice through there. It just draws you in. You just want to get on the power. You feel you've got the car straight and pointing in the right direction and ready to jump on the gas, and it just goes out from under you. Now, we're on with Breno. Now, he's on a hot lap. I don't know if it's fast enough at this point in time to get pole. However, if he keeps it up, he's definitely going to move up from 8th spot here. So he's just got 2 corners to negotiate. Fast left. Nails that one to the floor. And then the final left, turn 20. Bit wobbly on the exit. It's a good enough for pole. Well and truly made up so much time there at the death. Half a second. A 30.7. And meanwhile, the very angry side pods moved up into second as well. We're following still the Shears. He's still yet to put in a time. So he's going to have a red hot crack at it now. So still the Shiz gets the time in. 2 minutes 50 remaining in the session, but it still leaves him languishing in 11th, unfortunately. Bretho, in the meantime, has found a stack of time, goes up to second. I knew this would happen. Breno and Bretho right next to each other. Just to twist my tongue. Who's on a hot one at the moment is the semi-pro out and about. Here he comes now through this fast complex of corners. Left, right, through 3, 4, 5, 6. Negotiate 7. Little curve to the right for 8. Flick back to the left for 9. Down the hill. In what is turn 10, but easily flat. No fear there. Didn't quite use all the track he could have there on the exit of 11. Closes the rear wing as he slams on the brakes to get it hooked up for 12. And he's invalidated the lap. Oh! Almost invalidated his front wing into the wall there. Just went into the pits. Too hot to trot. So that's just going to be about it for some of these guys down the bottom of the sheets here. WA Huddins is going to give it one last shot. Hooks up the Renault nicely through 19. It's going to be pretty speedy. 7th position currently, and puts him up to 4. Just needed a smidgen more time and he was in 3rd, but good lap nonetheless. Now, who else is on a fast one? Some of these guys have just gone out for one last shot. Very angry side pod. And I believe Aiden McKay, I think Breno's having another go at it as well. So he's at the front of the queue. Who do we watch? Breno at the front of the queue. Aiden McKay not far behind. And if you look in the background there, you can see the very angry side pod. Again, not too far behind either. And the very angry side pod's invalidated his lap, while contrary to those fortunes, Breno has purpled Sector 2. I think he might be looking pretty safe. Stone Towel punches in a 130.9 to go onto the front row next to Breno. Ooh. Aggressive camera angle. Aiden McKay, he's still yet to punch in a time, so Breno improves, shaves another 10th off his time, and Aiden McKay's done. He's going into the pits. That's enough for him. So unless Mort can find 9/10, Breno's looking pretty comfortable here. Mort from 7th to 6th moves on to the 3rd row. There's nothing between 4th and 5th. Like we're talking 300ths there. Actually, 4th to 7th, still pretty much 300ths, 3 to 400ths. That's close in the midfield. So, quali's done. Yeah. Didn't quite work out for Installator somehow, but, you know, it's about the race. It's not all done in qualifying. Hopefully the Installator will be starting in 7th. Can do something about reviving his championship challenge from down there. 20 points deficit to make up. So we'll leave you there with the results. We'll be back in time for the start of the race. Don't go anywhere. The drivers are coming round onto the grid. You are joining us just in time for the fourth last round of the Race Spec PS4 Elite Series Tier 3 from the USA, and it's the championship leader Breno starting from pole position. He currently holds a 20-point gap over the installator, who only got one lap in qualifying and starts down in 7th. Has a bit to make up there. Let's see if we can get ourselves a nice front-on view for the start of the race. Doesn't look... well, there it is. Lights are coming on. The revs rise in the US of A, and we are underway. It's a decent start by Breno. Look at the very angry side pod up the inside. He's already moved up to second and looking to challenge for the lead. Thinks better of it. Breno holds. There's a Red Bull gone wide. Huddins goes wide as well. And up the back, it's still the Shiz goes wide as well. 3 cars off at the first corner as they make their way through the S's now. Cars flying left, right on the first lap of the USA Grand Prix. And so far, no incidents to speak of. They're all going to get through safely, I think. The Stone Tower there in 3rd, looking to take back that 2nd place position from the very angry side pod already, as they make their way into the slow hairpin at 11. Now there's a Red Bull. I think he's made contact with the semi-pro. What's happened back there? Did he go off? Managed to hold it together, but now they are side by side, these two. I can't get a view on them. Race director, help me out here as they stream down to turn 12. There's Aiden McKay making up positions already. Goes past Tactics into 12. And not mucking around, but it looks like the real winner from the start was the semi-pro. He's gone up from 8. There's a Red Bull gone round. Tactics came out of the corner a bit too hard on the gas. Finds himself on the grass. Gathers it up with a big loop and gets going once more. Back to the front of the field. It's Breno in the lead now. He comes around to complete lap 1. And he has the very angry side pod waiting in the wings there, not going away. He wants to challenge for the lead. He's got a sniff of first place there, and no doubt he'll want it. Semi-pro in 3rd. Installator has done well from the start, moved up 3 places. 7th place, all but a distant memory now, as they flick their way through the S's. Got to try and attack them as hard as you can, but don't overdo it. You can send your car flying off the track. As we go back down, a bit further down the field is WA Huddins in 8th. In this little squabble of cars back here. The Williams closing in on him. Mort thinks about a move. There's tyres screeching. Hudden smartly takes the long way around, which gives him the inside line for 13 and holds the spot. Meanwhile, the two at the front, Breno and the very angry side pod, they have broken away. Breno, we saw his pace was pretty hot in qualifying, but very angry side pod quite happy to stick with him at the moment, even as they do drive into the distance. You see Breno heading towards the pit wall. Quick wave to the crew, trying to break the slipstream of that Mercedes in his shadow. So there's the Stone Tower already, dropped 2 seconds adrift now from the very angry side pods. Semi-pro. As I said, 4 places up already from the start, and the installator made up, well, he was 4th, now back down to 5th. So a bit of jockeying and changing of positions down the bottom there, and there's that WA Huddins with a penalty, but did he get 2? Let me have a look. He did. He's picked up 2 in quick succession. Must have gone about half the lap without being in between the white lines, so he's going to suffer for that. come the end of the race. 6 seconds added onto his time already. So it's lap 3. We've got 28 laps to get through today here at the Circuit of the Americas. As we watch the cars fly through those fast right-handers. There's some impressive corners on this track. Ooh, Insulator running pretty wide there. That'll grab the ire of the stewards. And, oh, that Red Bull in behind him. Those Red Bulls are looking a bit taily today. We've already seen tactics go off, and that's going to compromise Breatho as they head into turn 1. Where's WA Huddens? Up on the outside now. We just cut those onboard views away for a minute, please, Mr. Director, so you can see what's going on. Oh, the Red Bull's wide there. WA Huddens slips around the outside and steals 6th position. As we welcome Jack Plays to the broadcast. Hello, Jack. Give us your predictions, mate. Who do you think's going to a podium this race today? If you're a betting man, your money would have to be with Breno after that scintillating qualifying performance. But, as I mentioned, the very angry side pod refuses to leave him alone, as Mort refuses to leave Breatho alone down into turn 12. Oh, look at that, hard on the brakes. That'll light up that front right tyre. You can already see the black marks as they turn into 15 there. Lockup's deluxe already. It is a tricky one, that turn 15. It's the approach, the braking, the turn in, much akin to turns 9 and 10 at Bahrain, if you're familiar with that little complex of corners. And, well, as we say in Australia, can be a bit of a bugger trying to get that car slowed down whilst you're turning in for the corner as well. Trying to do 400 things at once. And as we've already seen, Pirelli tyre rubber laid down like paint on the entry of 15 already. So lap 5, Breno still not quite able to break out of DRS. We've got a move going on here. Is that the Installator in front? There goes past the semi-pro, takes 4th place, while Breatho in the meantime down in 2nd grabs himself a 3-second time penalty. Now the semi-pro's got the attention of WA Huddens, who promptly chucks it up the inside of the Alpha Tauri and takes that spot, but they're going to go side by side all the way down to 12 here. This could get punchy down into 12. The Renault quickly slots in front. AlphaTauri has another look up the inside, locks a brake. Can they hold it there? They do. Behind them, the Red Bull and the Williams go round. Oh, they've cooked that. Oh, I think he maybe said a quick sorry and then drove off. But Mort left languishing on the grass. And that will drop Mort to 2nd last place. Tactics still down there after his earlier spin in the pretty much the same spot. Go back up to the midfield where the action's taking place. Installator's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. That's not ideal as he looks to keep that gap in the championship to less than 20 points. Breno looking pretty supreme out front. Well, I don't want to say supreme, I suppose. Very angry side pods keeping him honest at the moment. The gap in the championship, 20 points. Breno in the lead from the Installator. This is the 4th last race. We've only got, I think it's Mexico, Interlagos in Brazil, and the finale at Albert Davies, Abu Dhabi. So not much time for the Installator to make up those points. Speak of the devil, he's closing in on the Stone Towel in 3rd. Tactics gets a 3-second time penalty down the back there. He's driving out of frustration now after that early incident. Unfortunate. Meanwhile, update on Aiden McKay. He's moved up to 7th now from 12th. That's 5 positions in about as many laps. And I think the next move on track may come from the Installator. Oh, Stone Tail's gone well wide up the front there. As Installator goes wide. They're looking a bit raggedy at the moment as we look down on the Haas driver. Kicking off lap 7, trying to close in on the Stone Tail here. Won't be able to make a move into one, but he's going to get right onto the gearbox of that Alfa Romeo. The Alfa getting good drive out of turn 1 as they go through the S's now. Who's going to hold their nerve? Quite an easy complex of corners to get wrong. You get one corner wrong, it messes you up for the next one. You feel like you're forever and a day trying to gather it up. We're seeing the penalties starting to get dished out left, right and centre now. There's the tyre situation at the moment. Strong effort from Aiden McKay, considering he's on the medium tyres as well. Is the Installator going to have a little peek up the inside? That's a negative this time. We'll keep a little eye on this battle, but we're going to have to go back to Breno up front very soon. I think he's got a very angry side pod, driving very angrily all over his backside, looking for a way through into the race lead. A shout out to Ari Lahardo, so I hope I pronounced that correctly in the comments. Thanks for joining us, mate. Feel free to drop your predictions in there as well. Jack Plays put his in there. He's looking for a Breno, Installator, Very Angry Side Pod trifecta at the moment. And I think Very Angry Side Pod's got other ideas at the moment. He closed in, and then Breno just, like he's seemingly done the last few races. I don't know if he just goes into tyre conservation mode or what, but as soon as the heat gets applied, he just finds that extra half a second when required. So back to the mid-pack. Here's WA Hutton's in 4th. Now, he's got the Installator in front of him. Aiden in the background. I think I've been saying Aiden McKay, but the name's now Aiden F1, so he's no longer allowed to play any other games that don't involve F1. That's just the rules, mate. I don't make them up, sorry. And Hutton's getting a little bit closer to the Installator. What can he do? Who's gonna pit first too? I'm not sure what lap we're looking at for a pit stop. This is probably the last track. Whenever I have a little dabble on the game and have a drive, I never go anywhere near this track. It's not a favourite of mine. Ari Lahardo calling for a WA Hutton's podium. Jimmy James jumps in. Jumping Jack Flash just to remind him that 9 seconds might stop that WA Hutton's train today. But you never know what the other guys might rack up in penalties by the time we get to lap 28. Also, still 20 laps. Plenty of time to go. We're only at about 1/3 distance right now. On the Installator, he has made a mess of that. And WA Hutton's is looking around the outside into the hairpin. Still sticks it there. Gets very wide though. Again, going to be drawing the attention of the stewards there. But either way, he wants to try and make a move here down into 12. Can't get a good enough toe. He's going to have to tuck back in behind the Haas and live to fight another day. So So meanwhile up front, Breno has been the first to budge along with the Stone Towel. They've boxed already. Not sure how that went because Breno came out in 6th and the Stone Towel's been spat out in 10th. Quite a way back. So not sure what might have happened there. As we go, we're on board with WA Huddens. There's the Insulator in front. Aiden F1 behind. A little three-way battle going on lap 10. There you see it done by Aiden F1 and just gets through pretty cleanly. That was down into turn 12. Look at the tyre rubber going into 15 as they lock up and the Renault front wing almost into the back left of the racing point. So WA Huddens must be getting close to a pit stop as he promptly runs wide on the final corner. Maybe those tyres have had enough. But as pointed out by the guys in the comments, they may be looking to stretch him out to lap 13 and then jump onto the mediums and go all the way to the end on one stop. So guys, so would that mean the likes of Breno and Stone Tower will be boxing again, or do you think they'll go to the end as well? Let us know in the comments. For anyone else listening on, don't be scared, jump in there, have your say, make your predictions, say good day to your mum or something. All the comments just serve to make it more interesting for the rest of us. Gives me something to blabber on about as well in the call, other than just these bullheads in the cars. So Aiden F1 second now as a result of pit stops. Very Angry Side Pod still out there in front, so he may be looking... Okay, Stone Tower will have to box again, thank you. And I assume Very Angry Side Pod's looking to stretch out to that, roughly that 13 lap mark to go to the end on the mediums. Okay, so Jack Play's mentioning he'll have to pull off a miracle to last them to the end. Yeah, that's beyond me, mate. My idea of tyre conservation when I have a crack at this game is pretty hopeless. I'll probably help him with the pulling off bit, but as for the miracles, I'm no expert. So Breno's found his way back up to second now as we await an Aiden F1 pit stop, but that could be a few laps away yet as he did start on the medium tyre. Meanwhile, we'll pop down we're back with WA Huddens. He seems to be the action magnet of this race. Plenty going on around him. The two Red Bull drivers joining us for the first time. Bretho and Tactics, we welcome you. They are pretty close to each other as well. WA Huddens gets another time penalty. Where is that leaving? He's up to 12 seconds now. Maybe a lap behind in penalties at this rate. So still the Shiz yet to stop. Tactics still yet to stop. And up front, Aiden F1. There's the tyre situation. Neva Sweden's just come in for the hards. And he's the only one, bar for semi-pro in the AlphaTauri, to take on the hard tyres. Check in with Neva Sweden. We haven't seen the sole Ferrari driver much this race at the moment. Actually, we'll go back to the man of the day, W.A. Huddins, because he's looking to throw a bit of action up the inside of Still the Shears. Does so. Pretty stock standard move, but Still the Shears now in the sights of the semi-pro. Hard to follow a car through that section. All gets a bit wishy-washy through the left, right. Complex of corners there. Turns 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slows down at 8 a bit. Flick it back through 9, and then we see him go downhill through 10. Easily flat before pulling it right up. Slamming on the anchors through 11. And now we watch the cars make their way down the back straight to 12. Jack plays. If he didn't have a time penalty, it would be really interesting. Yes, it's yeah, I mean, look, the old time penalties get dished out pretty easily in this game, but I mean, look, it's the same for everyone. You know what you can and can't do before the PlayStation's turned on, so it's unfortunate, but meanwhile, a very angry side pod pinches the honour of fastest lap. He's currently in third. Meanwhile, Breno has passed Aiden F1 on track and resumes his lead. Actually, he's on the softs again. So Breno, I'm sure he started on the softs, if I'm not mistaken. So he's definitely looking to go 2 stops. And he's flying accordingly. Yes, definitely very easy to get a penalty on this track. I could manage it on Monaco. I could run right through the fences there. I just would find a way. But that's a sob story for another day. Still the Shiz. Oh, gets on the gas a touch too hard, and that's going to open the door for the semi-pro. Down the back straight, past Still the Shears. And now Bretho's lurking up on Still the Shears. Those tyres are probably starting to cry enough. 13 laps he's been on those mediums for. As we see the Red Bull's nose cone closing in on his gearbox like a magnet. Can't get through. Well, I was going to say can't get through there. Waits one corner and gets it done. Sneaky little pass up the inside. Nicely done. And now just about everyone has penalties for the lead of Breno, who's looking pretty sweet. Still going to have to make another stop as we see the installator go up the inside of the stone towel. Little the stone towel can do to fight him off there. As we've gone past the halfway mark of the race now. So the order chopping and changing with pit stops and different tyre strategies. So yes, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If the very angry side pod doesn't have to pit again, go to the end on those medium tyres, Breno's definitely going to have to pit again. So what kind of gap, how long is a pit stop here? If you could help me out with that one, please, guys. How much time lost in a pit stop at Kota? Because Breno's going to need to make up that gap. He's got about 8.5 seconds on the very angry side pod at the moment. And who knows what Aiden F1 could do as well if he can make up a bit of time. 23 to 25 seconds possibly, okay. I assume Aiden F1's probably going to do it in the reverse fashion, just push those mediums as long as he can, and then go for some flyers on the softs at the death. Here's the stone towel in the Alpha. Mort picks himself up a penalty. We might just check on those penalties. There we go, as we look down on the stone towel. Excuse me. Rippin' and a tearin' through that first section. Looks lovely from looking down from on high. Brello with 3 seconds added to his time as well. So there is about, I don't know, there's almost a minute worth of penalties out there on their respective plates. But as I mentioned, none for Breno. That could prove key. If his strategy doesn't work out as good as the very angry side pods, 3 seconds could make the difference at the end. You just never know. And a shout out to Neva Sweden too. He's done it the right way. He's kept it between the right white lines. 10th place, no penalties. So they've all settled into a bit of a slot now. We'll check out our little friend Neva Sweden here, because he's about to get harassed by Mort in the Williams. Mort down there after having a little tour onto the grass earlier. Got tangled up with Brevo. We've got a yellow flag. Is it... might have been still the shiz. Did he have damage there on his front wing? I'm not sure. If I imagine that. Can't get off this onboard view. Let's see if a wing change occurs. As he greets his Haas pit crew. Yeah, there's wing damage for sure. So he gets that sorted out. Departs, makes his way back out onto the track. Mort has gone past Neva Sweden now, so takes that 9th spot. As it's, guess who, WA Huddens, always involved in a pass one way or another. And his time penalty bank has gone up to 15 seconds now. So by the time he crosses the line, they'll chuck him back to about turn 16. 6th place at the moment. Aiden F1 just up ahead. So the gap at front, Breno, is now got 8 seconds. So very angry side pod went up to 2nd. So there might have been a pit stop. No, there wasn't. Did the insulator just have a moment? We might have missed something there. Or I would have. Check in with Tier 3 debutant Brevo in the Red Bull. WA Huddens again with another time penalty. Look, I've made the gag before, but he's going to finish in 1985 if he keeps going. He's just racking them up 3 seconds at a time. Might just be a bit of a test session now for Huddens. Aiden McKay's boxed and past the stone towel on those zoomy little soft tyres now. And here he goes. So he's going to make a dash on those softs. 10 or 11 laps he's got to do on them. What can he produce? Where can he end up? So Breno's making that stop now. AlphaTauri pit crew send him on his way. So this will be very interesting to see how this works out. The gap, 11.8 seconds, 12 seconds we'll call it, to the very angry side pod. When he took on the mediums. Oh yeah, because he did two soft stints, and this would be the final medium stint. So yeah, hopefully he got the most out of those softs, and with those mediums being 6 laps younger, can he do it? He's basically got to make up 12 seconds in 10 laps. Very angry side pod out front. And Breno's first potential victim will be... Okay, Jack Place, thank you, mate. Confirming it was soft, medium. For Breno, and his first victim in his sights will be his main championship rival, the Installator. Just 3 seconds up the road now. So 1 lap done for Breno, and he made up about a second on the very angry side pod. There's been a position change with... Okay, it's the Stone Towers box, that's why. Wasn't done on track. The Alfa Romeo's coming in for a new set of softs. We'll be looking to go for a bit of a dash to the end. So back out he goes. Just in front of Neva Sweden back there in the Ferrari, and promptly picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, Gaingley. I thought he was driving straight off the track there. Okay, so we'll pop back to the front. We'll keep an eye on Breno as he closes in on the Installator. We won't want to make it easy for him whatsoever. And Aiden McKay pretty much coming along with him. Very angry side pod out front. I'll be hoping the Installator makes it nice and difficult for the AlphaTauri driver. That could be the key. Because very angry side pod's got 3 seconds worth of penalty to deal with there as well at the end. That's going on to the time. How long it takes Breno to get past the Installator, because you would assume it's going to happen. How long it takes him to get past could be the difference at the end. He's going to have to keep one eye on his mirrors as well, with Aiden F1 closing in behind. This could get interesting. So 7 laps to go, and we've got a bit of action to come yet. Here he goes, Breno. He's closed in on that Haas very quickly. That's going to cost him no time at all, really. Barely any. Dispatches the Haas in an easy fashion, all whilst purpling the second sector. Yeah, we look down now on Aiden F1 closing in. He's the next man to want a piece of the Installator. See the people in the crowd there responsibly socially distancing. Well, not in that grandstand, they're not, but WA Huddins, you guessed it, picked up 3-second time penalty. Add on to his time. There's really not a lot Aiden F1 can do here. He's just going to have to bide his time. Get as close as he can going into 11. And then he'll get the benefit of DRS on the run down to 12. So here he goes, gets a good run out. Shouldn't have too much of an issue closing in here. Installator's going to make him work for it, unlike Renault had to. Oh, he goes wide. It's cheeky. But the Installator also went wide in the background, so probably did help him avoid an incident there. Now, how much can he keep up with Aiden F1? Renault up front, sorry. Renault with about 6.5 laps to go, looking to close that gap within 3 seconds. He just needs to get within 3 seconds of the very angry side pod. Just double check. Yep, 3-second time penalty for very angry side pod to be applied once the cars cross the finish line at the end of the race. No penalties for Breno. WA Huddins with another penalty. Lucky I don't have to write these on the notepad anymore, Mr. Huddins, because I'd be like across the pad onto my writing on my lap now. Pen marks across my thighs. The 24 seconds worth he's racked up now. Yeah, that's 8 penalties in total. So 5 and a bit laps remaining. The gap between the very angry side pod and Breno now 6.7 seconds. Here's the Mercedes driver out front. All he can do is just concentrate on his own race. Put in some fast, solid, tidy laps. Who will the victory go to? Might just have a little look-see down at Mort here. He's closing in on the Stone Tower just ahead, or did the Stone Tower go ahead of him? The gap, 6/10. I'm not even going to try and predict where all... Well, actually, Mort could be looking fairly tidy. He's only got 3 seconds in penalties. The guys in front, Stone Tower 6 seconds. Bretho and Semi-Pro 9 seconds. Huddins will drop off the face of the planet once his penalties are applied. And from there, it's all pretty tame. So if Mort can just keep it relatively tidy and not pick up another penalty himself, might not be so bad for the Williams driver. Actually, the Stone Tower must have been the one that passed him, because he's already moved on and closing in on his next victim. Oh, actually, that's the Semi-Pro ghosting his guts out. So he drops back. 4 laps to go. The gap for the very angry side pod is starting to close quickly now. And you'd think, given the tyre situation on 7-lap older tyres, that gap's probably going to drop pretty quick. 4.8 now up front. We'll stay with this battle for the time being as that... Oh, is that the side pod? He's spun it, he's done it. Oh no, he's dropped out of the lead. So that puts paid to those any theoreticals regarding the race winner. The side pod spun the wheels out of the last corner. Clearly the tyres had had enough already. And that's dropped him down to 3rd. And suddenly the Installator's looking for a piece, wanting to move up. both with 3 seconds penalties, so this is a straight fight between these two. With Breno in the lead, the Installator will want to do whatever he can to keep that points deficit from growing any bigger. And a pass on the very angry side pod will all help towards that gap, especially at the conclusion of this race, with there just being 3 more races left in the championship. Here comes the Installator. Can he get the move done? He's still got time. Actually, worth noting, Aiden F1 in second. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So again, if the Installator can find his way through and get close to Aiden F1, he could be looking at sharing his 3rd consecutive podium with Breno, after the two of them never shared a podium all season 3 races ago. Can the Installator do it? We've got the benefit of DRS there, but the gap's still out at 8/10. Not close enough to be making passes. So after all that, it's fallen pretty well for Breno. He'll be looking fairly comfortable out front now. 2.3 second buffer over Aiden F1, who in turn has 6 seconds worth of penalties. And the very angry side pod, the tyres just got a bit too old and cooked and sent spinning out of the last corner and out of the lead of the race. He's shown some pretty hot pace all race though, the Mercedes driver, and that, I think that might be enough to keep the Installator at bay. They're similarly tired at the moment. 14 lap old mediums for the Installator. Well, Aiden McKay's unable to pull away a whole heap here at the moment, so the very angry side pod's still looking good for second. Oh, sorry, actually I calculate that wrong because he does have a 3 second time penalty of his own. So the gap's 4.3. He needs to get that under 3 seconds if he's going to take second. But full credit to Aiden F1. Started 12th and last, and now finds himself in second. Oh, was that another penalty for the very angry side pod? It was. I've missed that. Thank you, Jack Play. So now it's 6 seconds worth of penalties. Oh, suddenly looking a bit better for the Installator and a podium position. He's got that gap to within a second anyway now. It'll be ruining not being able to get past the Mercedes and head off out after Aiden F1, but he's got enough life in those soft tyres. Hutton's disqualified. Brutal. The stewards have had enough of his antics. Said you can take your bat and ball and go home. Ouch. So that might be the first disqualification of the season. I don't recall seeing another one, bar for a post-race punting from the championship, but we won't go into that. So very angry side pod. Still well and truly in the sights of the Installator. But he can't break away. And I think the Installator's looking good now for another podium. He's just got to hang in there. But all the while, as the lead and the race positions and the tyre strategies all chopped and changed after that first lot of pit stops, it was just all over the place. Hardly any drivers running concurrent strategies throughout the race. Every man and his dog had a different idea of how to run this one, but all the while it was Breno in the AlphaTauri just keeping a cool head. Hasn't even picked up a penalty in the race. He's gone about it once more the right way, and he's looking good here for 25 more championship points as he comes around the final corner, straightens the AlphaTauri up, gives a celebratory wiggle across the finish line, and it's victory for Breno. Aiden F1 brings it home in second. The Very Angry Side Pod, I think he's going to drop to fourth. Installator jumps onto the podium and does his best to keep that championship lead from opening up any further. And yes, I concur. Jack plays a beautiful drive from Breno in the AlphaTauri. Just kept such a cool head and did a great job. And he'll no doubt drink to that one after today. Over the line, the rest of them come. Here's Neva Sweden in the Sol Ferrari. He's got tactics behind him, but he's got a bucket load of penalties. Over the line they come. Still the Shiz in the Haas. Got 2 corners to go, and brings it round to complete the 28 laps. We'll give an honorary mention to WA Huddens despite the disqualification. But look, I only laugh with a grain of salt there, mate. But a driver of the day, Aiden F1, the artist formerly known as Aiden McKay, formerly known as Prince, gets it up into second. That was a pretty epic drive. 2 solid drives there from first and second. 4 first. There's your winner. Big bad boy Brenos on the top step of the podium. And I've little doubt he'll be cutting away the champagne for a cold, frothy brewski after the race. Good job, Aiden McKay and Installator, keeping that championship battle tight enough with 3 rounds remaining in the championship. So there's your results for today. I'll leave you with those. It's been a pleasure calling the race once more. Thanks to the guys in the comments for joining in. Always a pleasure. And we look forward to having you with us next time for the Race Spec PS4 Elite Series. This is Tier 3 from America. I'm your host, Mike Wilson. Bye for now.